Retailing is a big industry. It could get bigger in India depending on, of course, a whole lot of things, including policy and policy intervention. Meanwhile, Marks and Spencer's, the famous brand, has been in India for a few years now, and who better to ask or tell about how their experience has been as a big retailer trying to find their place in this country. I'm joined now by Venu Nair, CEO of Marks and Spencer's India. Venu, thank you very much for joining us. Let me ask you a more starting question. How do you see the overall retail environment in India?
Thanks for having me on this session, Govind, and pleasure to talk to you. In terms of the retail environment in the country, I think we have been seeing robust growth over the last few years, and we expect that to continue. There are ups and downs that keep happening, but I think overall the economy has been growing at a fairly rapid pace, and especially the industry that we are in, given that it is still in its infancy in terms of the maturity of the market, we see many years of continuous growth that we should be seeing.
Venu, do you see retail not tracking GDP growth?
I think it does track the GDP growth, but I think what we also have is that within the country, even today, a large part of the retail industry is in the unorganized sector. And while we are seeing the retail industry itself growing, what we are also seeing is movement from the unorganized to the organized sector. So I think because of that, people like us who are in the organized sector are starting off from a very low base. I think some market numbers suggest that the organized retail in India is only 8% of the total retail market. So if you compare with countries like Malaysia and even Thailand, which are still probably emerging economies, and their retail market is around 40 to 45% the organized sector. So we have a huge way to go, and that's why we see the growth to be robust over the next few years.
Venu, let me take a step back. Can I ask you a little more about the Marks and Spencer's landscape in India in terms of your spread, your operations, and the kind of verticals that you're present in?
Yeah, of course. M&S first came into India in 2001, and we came in first as using a franchise operation, and that continued till 2007. We started small. We started in Delhi and Mumbai, and we had a fairly small size store. In the year 2007, we broke away from the franchisee and formed a joint venture with Reliance Retail, which came into existence towards the middle of 2008. And so it's effectively our fifth year of operation as a joint venture. And today we have 31 stores in the country across 9 cities, predominantly in the bigger cities of the country. But we are on a rapid expansion phase now, and we are going into a number of new cities. We have just shy of 400,000 square feet in retail space, of which we trade. And in the country, we currently trade across menswear, women's wear, lingerie, kids wear, and beauty. So those are the categories that we trade in.
So let me ask you a slightly different question. What in the last few years have you seen that in India that you've been either surprised by or not surprised by?
It's an interesting question, and it has been a learning experience, but then it is also a changing environment consistently. So what we are finding is that the customer is getting more and more fashion savvy, the customer is getting more global, and also the level of westernization is going up. And there are a few examples that I can give you to illustrate the point. So if you look at shorts, and 3 years back we couldn't give away women's shorts because the market probably didn't exist, or people were fairly conservative. Whereas now it is consistently over the summer months, it tends to be one of our best sellers. Similarly, holiday wear. Again, as the trend of people going away on holidays is picking up and becoming more and more a regular affair, it's quite easy for us to predict the holiday season, and the holiday wear that we sell has seen double-digit growths consistently over the last couple of years. There are a number of such examples I can give you. Shapewear and shapewears in lingerie has had massive growth, again as people get accustomed to the innovation and the kind of products that we offer in that space. So there is an acceptance of new products, of products which have a functional benefit, but then also products which are getting more and more established as the country progresses.
And can you tell us a little more about scaling up or the challenges that you will face in scaling up, particularly at a national level?
Scaling up has its challenges. Finding the right location is obviously the key in retail, and that remains the same whether it is in this country or any other country. Prime space is scarce, and you have to go scouting and look around and be very, very careful in terms of where you go in. The challenges that also come in is because some of the retail space that is coming in is fairly futuristic. So you have to take a call when the mall is starting to be built, and it typically takes between 3 to 5 years for a mall to be built. So you have to effectively almost predict in 5 years' time, will that locality or that catchment or that area develop to be able to have the kind of retail shopping that is expected to happen. So those are some of the calls that you need to make as we make our investments. Space, also the property market itself and the rate of mall development is tends to be slow. So that's definitely a challenge that we have also faced.
And Venu, are there any broader policy issues that you would like to touch upon, issues which of course would help your industry or your organization grow or expand?
M&S always plays to the local laws and work within the local laws, and we have adapted ourselves to that in India as well. We have had the advantage of having a local partner in the form of Reliance Retail, who have been of tremendous help in terms of providing us the local expertise, local knowledge, and guiding us in terms of areas that we should go into or shouldn't go into. So that help has always been greatly appreciated within M&S, and we continue to have a great relationship with our partners. In terms of broader economic policies, I think barriers, whether tariff or non-tariff, are always not helpful, and anything that can be done to lower that would always benefit trade.
And how is the next year looking? Is it looking different? What are the kind of areas that you're looking at in terms of expansion? Your thoughts?
India is one of our most important international markets for Marks and Spencer, and globally India is way up in its priorities. We continue to invest, and we are on a rapid expansion phase. As I mentioned before, we have currently 31 stores, and we have a very strong pipeline of stores that would open in the next few months. We believe that India offers a great opportunity for us for our expansion plans internationally, and we are committed to growing rapidly in this country.
So Venu, last question. If I were to ask you the 3 things that you've learned as a retailer or being a retailer in India, what would they be?
I think India is a big country, and it offers a great opportunity for the foreseeable future. However, it is also for the long term, and a long-term commitment is required for any business to succeed in the country. Understanding the differences that exist between the different parts of India is also equally important to be able to cater your offering to the local needs of each of those markets. And if I again try and explain that with an example, so linen is a product that does extremely well for us, and it does well in the summer months, obviously across the whole country. However, in places like Chennai or even in Mumbai, you have a much longer warm period than you would have in, let's say, Delhi. So we offer linen and linen products pretty much throughout the 52 weeks of the year, whereas we would do that for more like 35 to 40 weeks in the north of the country. So making those variations and tailoring your product offering to the local needs and to the local requirements have helped us hugely in making a success of our business in India.
Right, Venu, thank you very much for joining us and speaking with us.